My dear students and learners, welcome to my 21st video of Engineering Thermodynamics. This is for third unit, my third video for third unit, and in the last video I have discussed about the various steam forming processes and the basic terms or terminologies related to that is phase conversion of water either from ice or in the liquid phase to water vapor, right? Okay, so we will continue the same topic again. So here I hope that you would have recalled everything. What is vaporization, evaporation, boiling, and I told about the various classifications of steam with respect to the availability of how much amount of water particles present in the water vapor. Depends upon it how we have to calculate the dryness fraction or wetness fraction of the steam. Everything was discussed in the last video. Okay, right. Now we will and also I gave introduction about what is saturation temperature and saturation pressure. Both are very important characteristics or terminologies related to the findings of findings or the properties of steam, how it could be varied with respect to this saturation temperature or saturation pressure, right? Saturation temperature is nothing but it is the temperature at which the steam or the liquid, the water is converted into water vapor for a given particular pressure. Okay, so let me define again what is saturation temperature. Is boiling takes place at a definite temperature which depends upon the physical properties of the liquid and the pressure. You know very well, depends upon the reaction conditions what we are fixing, the other all sort of properties change would be continuously varying, right? So here if you are fixing the pressure, according to that the temperature will be varying. If you fixing the temperature, according to that all the other properties also would change and the temperature also would change to reach the saturation point. Here we are concentrating the end destination where we are going is to get the saturated steam. Okay, to get the saturated steam, if you are fixing the pressure, the corresponding saturation temperature should reach. If you are fixing the temperature, the corresponding pressure has to be reached, right? So at this temperature, this boiling takes place at a particular definite temperature which depends upon the physical properties of the liquid and the pressure. Both are important. Okay, these are all the factors deciding how the liquid is converted into vapor, what time it is taking, how much time it is the duration is being taken, and what are all the various final destination is fixed only depends upon the pressure and temperature. Okay, so here one example: at standard atmospheric pressure of 1.01 to 25 bar, water boils at the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. If you are fixing your pressure at 1.01325 bar of atmospheric pressure, then the water will starts to boil at 100 degrees Celsius. Or if you are fixing the temperature at 100 degrees Celsius for your reaction to be conducted, then when the pressure reaches 1.01325 bar, then the water will starts to boiling. Okay, so one can be fixed and another one should reach to get to the final point. Okay, so this is saturation temperature and saturation pressure, and also the wetness fraction, dryness fraction, both I told you. No, wetness fraction, when it is expressed in percentage, then it is called priming of steam. Okay, priming of steam. let me move the very important graphical representation of this boiling process. Okay, so here the first graph denotes T versus Q. Okay, this is temperature versus heat input. Okay, so here 1 to 2 stage is nothing but 1 is the stage at which you just think that the ice is at minus 5 degrees Celsius. You are taking 1 kg of ice at the state of ice, okay, below 0 degrees Celsius. So CF 1 to 2 is the process by which all the ice is converted into that bringing brought to 0 degree Celsius by supplying the heat. Okay, so now here what happens, the heat is supplied. Okay, and at 273 Kelvin, can you able to see here? Okay, so at constant temperature of 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvin, all the ice 2 to 3 melting. Okay, 2 to 3 melting, all the ice is melted and it is converting into water at the stage or the process of 2 to 3. 1 to 2 ice conversion, that is ice getting the heat, ice is heated but there is no any phase change at the constant temperature, at a constant, here all the reactions are happening, are taking place at constant pressure. Okay, now at constant pressure and constant temperature of 0 degree Celsius, the ice is melting and converted into water. You are not stopping your heat supply, heat is being supplied continuously, and then now here the process of 3 to 4, the water is getting heated, the water is getting heated. Here I am able to see heat input is increasing, time by at a constant rate. So here water is absorbing the heat, there is no any phase change, there is no any vaporization takes place, only that is it is absorbing the heat from the input. Okay, now after it has been reached the point of 100 degree Celsius or 373 Kelvin, now what happened, all the water is converted into vapor, so now here in these two phase change, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, this evaporation process, here melting process takes place at constant pressure and constant temperature. So you have to learn that the physical change or the phase change occurs only at constant pressure and constant temperature by absorbing the heat called latent heat of, this is latent heat of melting, this is fusion, and this is latent heat of vaporization. What is the heat required for ice conversion to water is latent heat of fusion, and here the amount of heat which is required for conversion of water into vapor at constant pressure and constant temperature is called latent heat of vaporization. Okay, so again now you got the steam at the state of 5, all the ice has been converted to water by the increase of heat supply, and now from at the point of 5, the state and the condition of the ice is purely saturated steam, all the water has been converted to vapor, and from 5 to 6 again if you are supplying the heat, now it has become, or it is again now started to more saturated with respect to vaporization, and then it is called superheated steam. This is saturated steam, 0.5 is saturated steam. 5 to 6 again if you are supplying the heat and you are bringing more energy, more molecular migrations will be occurring, and steam will absorb more and more amount of heat, and it will expand its volume, so that its energy is extremely high level compared to all the other sections. Now the steam is at the very good energized one because of the heat energy. The heat energy is only supplied to the water. Simply water is not energized only because of the supply of heat input. Okay, now as point 6, 5 to 6 is the superheating process, and at the point 6 this steam is superheated steam or a saturated or super saturated steam with respect to vapor, right? So here two important things you should know. Only for water one peculiar character is there, and that has to be known for you compared to other pure substances, which differentiates water from other substances. In a small region of place only that occurs, from the point of 2 to 3 dash, from the point of 2 to 3 dash, this is volume, temperature versus volume. From 1 to 2 volume is increasing, but when it starts to melt, and till the temperature of 4 degrees Celsius, that is 277 Kelvin, its volume is decreasing. Okay, so usually for other all substances the volume would be increasing continuously by the continuous supply of heat and when it undergoes the phase change, but only for water there is a volume reduction during till the temperature reaches 277 Kelvin or 4 degrees Celsius, and of course during the melting of ice. You know very well that ice would be occupying more space than the water. That's what we are talking in technically. Okay, so here this graph, third one, that I will explain you again how this PV diagram is coming into play, that I will explain you in detail with the step by step how it has drawn. Okay. Now next, of course, we will move to, in the next video we will move to PV diagram for a pure substance, that is especially for water. Now here let me introduce why PV diagram, PT, PVT and HS, TS, all property diagrams is being drawn for steam, and it has tabulated in the steam tables, and it has drawn or charted in the Mollier chart. The purpose is it is already measured and marked and observed, calculated in each and every equilibrium point of converting the steam from water to vapor, water to vapor form, and these are all the plots going to useful or going to be used for finding the amount of energy possessed by the steam and how that steam will used for how much amount of work done or power can be extracted from the steam. Depending upon the states or the properties of the steam, we would be finding how much amount of effectively work done can be extracted from the steam. So that's what we are drawing these coordinates. First, whatever the topics, we just correlate why that particular topic is being linked here. Okay, so here for again drawing the PV diagram, we are taking a unit mass of ice at a particular temperature, and pressure we are maintaining at 1 atmosphere, and let the ice be heated slowly so that its temperature is always uniform. So usually it will be giving a constant rate of heat supply, and the changes which occur in the mass of water would be traced as a temperature is increased while the pressure is held constant, right? So whenever the heat is supplied, if you keep the pressure constant, then automatically the temperature will rise, and let the state changes of the water be plotted on PV coordinate. Okay, so thanks for patient listening. Meet you in next video. I am Dr. Suja signing off in this video. Meet you in the next video of third unit of engineering thermodynamics. Thank you.